Ow. Alright guys, for today's video, one of the most frustrating things when working on cars or pretty much anything with kind of can be tight spaces, areas you can't really reach, and depends on how big your hands are, how hard it is to get in there. And that is trying to get one thing, a bolt or screw, wherever it goes, in one area kind of out of your reach to actually make it in there for you to put in there without dropping it. And usually it's like a 50-50 shot as to whether or not it's going to drop. And it's always guaranteed that at a minimum it is going to be dropped more times than it's going to go into the hole. So you could drop it 10 times before you actually get it in where it needs to go, because just trying to get stuff to fit or to the location where it should be can be a pain in the ass. So this is a video just going to be kind of a quick little thing to give you some tips and tricks on how to maybe make things a little bit easier on you and get the bolt, screw, whatever it is, into the hole the first time. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
So, first and foremost, I've talked about this one previously, I think in the Acadia taillight video, showed this trick before. But imagine this, you have a bolt or screw or whatever, and you got to kind of put it in a location, and you can't get your fingers in there, but this needs to be tightened in, and you can only reach with like extension like this, and the bolt wants to slip out. Okay, for something like this one, like this, you're going to reach like that. You can do this. You'll need some low adhesion tape. So this is blue painter's tape, and blue painter's tape works great because it is definitely low adhesion enough. Because you don't want to use something like duct tape or Gorilla Tape, because this can kind of screw you over. But you'll take your piece, you'll take, and this is easier if you have like a bolt with a tip at it on it, because then you can just kind of force it through it. But if not, you just kind of take it and you rip a little slot inside in the middle of that piece of tape, and you'll take the bolt and you'll slide it through the hole, sticky side down, so it grabs onto the flange of the bolt. Slide that in, sticky side down, like that. Okay. Then you'll take the tape, or put the bolt in here, take the tape, flip it down, wrap it around your socket, and now the bolt isn't going to go anywhere. And then when you take and you start putting the socket in there and twist till the bolt gets tight, you can go ahead and just pull it out like this, and the tape tears apart because it's low adhesion. The bolt is now in place, and you can tighten it down all the way, and whatever, and it'll stay in place. So that is one way, using low adhesion tape. I've used this one a ton of times, and it works fantastically. Okay, so now I'm going to do something with a higher adhesion tape, and this works for around the same area or same type of deal, to where you kind of can't get in there. It doesn't necessarily want to fit, or you have something that is very oddly shaped like this. This right here is just a charging lug for a battery, but imagine you have something that is this weird shape, and you try and you have to put it in your socket like this, and it goes in a certain area, and it just falls right out. Okay, two options for this one. Well, we want to use something a little bit stickier, has more kind of like play to tape itself. So for this, black electrical tape is perfect. And a side note on electrical tape, if you leave it sit out in your garage, it gets just sticky all over, and it's a pain in the ass. So probably try and store this inside kind of something climate controlled, make it a little bit easier. So for this one, we'll take a piece of black tape, relatively large, or it depends on the size of your socket, and you'll roll it up sticky side out. Okay, sticky side, sticky side, sticky side. And this may be too big of a piece. Looks like it could be too big of a piece, but we shall see. All right, sticky side out, sticky side out, sticky side out. I got a kind of a sticky ball there. I take it, I push it. That is too big, but I may have to grab a smaller piece, and this is a trial and error one. Yeah, let me grab a smaller piece of tape. Ah, get off. So this one is just kind of figuring out the size you need for it. Let's go with this. Okay. Sticky side out. Oh, God. Terrible. Roll it up. this sticky side. I take it, I go to where my socket is, I stick it down inside the socket, and take the bolt, kind of force it down into place like that, and now it will grab and hold itself from the inside. So stickiness to it and a little bit of pressure holds that, so now that is not going to fall out, and you can put that in, and then again as you tighten it down, pull this out, that's now in place and that's in there. Kind of downside to this one a little bit, not real much downside, but you need a pick just to pull that tape out. That's all it is. The biggest downside is that electrical tape is sticky as shit if you leave it in your garage. That's the biggest takeaway. Now, second thing, using electrical tape for the same sort of deal. If you don't necessarily need to stuff it down in there, depends on your situation, you'll take a piece of electrical tape, tear it off. Size not terribly unimportant unless it depends on what is kind of going to bounce into on the way in there. And for this, you'll take sticky side up, take your bolt or whatever, stick it into the tape here, and then stick that down into the socket itself. And this one, the last one was kind of holding it on more so of tape adhesion stickiness. Get off my fingers. This is being held in place by pressure from the actual thickness of the tape, taking up the extra space that is around the bolt inside the socket. So that will hold it in place. And same deal, when you pull it out, bolt comes out. That could be one issue, but you can always grab in there and pull it out with pliers or something like that. So that's two ways to use the electrical tape for a smaller or different or an oddly shaped thing. God, I am sticky as shit. Okay, so now this one here. Imagine you have a screw and say it's just a screw head bolt or whatever, and you need to go try and put the screw in here. Sometimes, you know, Phillip heads, if you have the correct size Phillip heads, which there's multiple size Phillip heads, you can get it to kind of grab decently. And this could also work for, I guess, Allen heads, Torx bits, things like that. But if you have a flathead screwdriver and you're going to try to put a flathead screw somewhere in there and it's going to grab, it's not going to grab. So here's a trick for this one. If you look right there, okay, there's a screw doing nothing. I have here a magnet. Now this is a magnet that you use to kind of hold pieces of metal together as you are going to weld things together. You can use any sort of magnet, extra, like a magnet off the back of a speaker, or just magnet from your fridge or wherever it is. I take it, oh, stop bouncing. Take my screwdriver, take my magnet, rub it down in one direction, okay? I do that a few times, one direction, and then, oh, hang on, you do it a few more times. There you go. Now my screwdriver is magnetized. Okay. How many times it takes to rub with the magnet? All depends. All depends on the screwdriver. All depends on what you're trying to stick it to. But as you can see right there, it is now magnetized. So that will hold itself in place as you go and put that in and tighten it up. Now you can, it'll still be magnetized here. You can then go kind of back and forth with the magnet a good amount of times, and it should, at some point in time, there we go, deactivate the magnet. Okay, so you just have to figure out what the polarity is of the magnet you're using, go in one direction in that polarity, and then depending on your magnet, you can rub it back and forth like that, or you can go in the opposite direction to demagnetize the magnet, or the screwdriver, I should say. And then magnetized again. So that is a good way. See if I can get it. Magnets, amazing. So you can see right there, hang on. Now I just want to play with the magnets because magnets are cool. So I've magnetically charged that, and then if I just put the magnet back on it, it deactivates it. And that's not me smacking it off. That's just the magnet being deactivated from the magnetic field created by the magnet or the screwdriver. Okay, so those are a few little tricks that will help you, hopefully, prevent you from ever dropping a nut or bolt or a screw again. These are just little quick little ones that I've used in the past that I have on hand I can do. If you know of any other ways of doing something similar, I mean, you could probably do things equally, like maybe you have some plastic like saran wrap. You can do kind of the first tip with the tape, but instead of using tape, use saran wrap through there and kind of pull it down over and hold it on your ratchet as you go tighten that down and pull that out. That's probably another kind of way of doing it. But low adhesion tape, electrical tape, magnets, those sorts of things. If you do these kind of three options here, will probably get you through everything you need to make sure that you don't drop a bolt again. Oh, I should say you do drop a bolt or whatever or a screw and you can't reach with your hands or pliers or something like that. Magnetize trick, magnetize your longest screwdriver and reach down in there, grab whatever it is, pull it out. They do have, like, obviously telescoping magnetic tools to kind of pick stuff up if you lose it. You may not have one or may not always be on hand, but if you do have a screwdriver or kind of like any sort of real piece of metal, like maybe a long extension that can fit into an area and a magnet, you can magnetize it enough to get whatever it is that you dropped. So keep it from dropping. If you do drop it, be able to get it back from where you dropped it from. So that is all I have for today. If you have any ideas of other ways to kind of do this, feel free to let everybody else know. Save people frustration from trying to figure stuff out and search down drop bolts on their projects. So, all right, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff, and I will see you next time.